I can't vote for any proposal that'll add $7 trillion to the debt over 10 years. The problem in Washington is about definitions. You remember a few years ago when Bill Clinton says it's about how you define the definition of is. Really what the definitional problem is here is about what a cut is. Most Americans think a cut in spending or a cut in the deficit would mean that you have less one year than you had the previous year. Spending under the Boehner plan will go up every year. The debt will go up every year. Contrast this with the penny plan that I'm promoting with Connie Mack from the House. It has real percent, 1% cut, which means you spend 1% less next year than you spend this year. That actually balances the budget in about 7 to 8 years. But the Boehner plan never balances and will add $7 trillion. I can't support adding that kind of debt to our country.
How did Republicans, who at one time stood for balanced budgets and the sound dollar, get seduced into this big government mentality to the point where I think they're actually deluding themselves as well as the public, because they sound like they really believe that this Boehner plan is going to save money, whereas in the long run, as you just explained, it's going to spend more money.
Yeah, here's the problem. Everything in Washington, people get so caught up in here talking about a baseline budgeting. But the baseline budget goes up 7% a year. So if you cut $1 trillion, but you were going to add $9 trillion in debt, that means you cut $1 trillion. You're going to have $1 trillion less in debt, but you were already planning on adding $8 or $9 trillion to the debt. All of the cuts are fictitious or phony because they're cuts against proposed increases in spending. There are no real cuts. The only real cuts would be something like the plan that I've talked about, the penny plan, because it would cut 1% against 0 as the baseline.